Hey guys, Bart from TST Industries here. Welcome to TST Garage. In the shop with me today is a 2018 and up Yamaha MT-07. It's a gorgeous bike. I really love this color scheme, but it does come with this very simple looking taillight. So we decided to combat that and come out with our own integrated taillight that will replace the OEM system, plug and play, direct fit. Just changes the look a little bit and gives you some really cool things to look for in a taillight. First and foremost, we've redesigned the optics. Your running light will be on the perimeter. Your brake light will increase the intensity of the perimeter and then also light up the inside pocket. And the signals that have been integrated into this light capsule will light from almost the center all the way out. Now we do have a programming button on the back. It enables you access to 9 different program states. We'll show you all those different states later. It's a very, very nice high-end injection molded capsule. Features 108 really bright, high-intensity LEDs. To me, this is a winner. I really love this product. I'm very proud of it. All of us here at TST are very enthused with this design, and I hope you guys will agree with us. I feel this is a very simple installation. In just a minute, I will show you how to perform it. One thing to note, we do have other signaling options. We have pod signals of all different kinds. So if you're more into pod signals, check that out on our website, tstindustries.com. We do have a number of different options for you guys to choose from. And some of you guys will choose to run the pod signals in combination with the tail light. We do have splitter systems that enable plug and play ability for all those components to work together. On this particular bike, we've already done the fender eliminator, so we've taken away the fender, the OEM fender, and all the hardware and components that need to come off with the fender. If you need help with the fender removal steps, please see our fender eliminator video. We have step-by-step instructions on how to take down the fender. For this particular installation, we will pick up from where we left off, and we will just assume that the fender's already gone. So let's get started. In the first step, we will remove the passenger seat, put it to the side, and then we will need to remove the following 4 push fasteners. 2 up here and 2 back here. Now let's hop up top. Next, we will need to remove this trunk panel, up and back, empty the contents of the trunk, and then using a 5mm Allen key, we'll remove these 2 bolts to free the driver's seat. Next, I will switch to a 4mm Allen, remove these 2 fasteners up here, followed by these 2 back here. Now, a quick note here, these do have shoulder spacers. They do need to be removed, but make sure that you retain them. They will be needed for reassembly. Now we'll switch to a 12mm socket and remove these 2 fasteners, as well as the 2 under these 2 rubber covers. These 4 fasteners also have centering spacers, so remove them, but hang on to them. Now we should be able to slip these tail halves off to the side. The tail piece, the black portion here, has a friction fit fastener that interfaces with a rubber grommet on the tail light, so they need to be pulled out straight to the side. Now we can remove this rear rubber center. Now we'll switch to a 4mm Allen to remove these 2 remaining screws here. I like to keep them partially threaded in, and that will enable the light to stay in. It won't drop out. We could remove the tail light main wire from its routing geometry from the cable management clip down there, and now we could unplug the main plug. And you can see here I have a number of other plugs. These plugs are for the fender lighting equipment. One is for the license plate light, and the two females here are for the signals that will be used later. For now, let's just extract this light. Once again, these screws here do have spacers on them, so we will need to take them out and retain them. And at this point, we need to swap the rubber grommets and some of the fastener components onto our new tail light. So let's head on over to the table and do that there. So we are presented with a choice of a clear or smoked lens. The owner of this bike chose to do a smoked lens, so that is what we're going to swap our components onto. We're going to take our stock tail light and remove the side grommets. When you remove them, you notice that they have two different diameters. The smaller diameter goes towards the inside or inboard of that light. You're just basically going to swap them directly over from same location on the OEM to the TST. You just need to make sure that it does actually mushroom out all the way. Now these top grommets, and these are the same diameter top and bottom, so they're pretty arbitrary up here. We do have to make sure that they do mushroom out on both sides, and that the hole through them is actually circular, otherwise they'll be bound up. I've done that here, and just repeat on the other side. That looks pretty good here. Now we have these two stamped fasteners. They have a profile like this. On one side there's a stamped thread. That thread needs to go towards the bottom. And then we have a little tab on the taillight and an accepting window on this fastener that need to engage. And now we'll just undo our wire loom. And now this light is ready to go back onto the bike. We're going to start the reassembly here by passing the wires through the left side of the motorcycle. Get them under the seat latch cable. And then we're going to place the bottom on the fender eliminator closeout bracket here. We still have the stock fender. It's going to look a little bit different. On the stock fender, there is an accepting piece that fits over this tab. So place that in there. And these two rubber grommets are going to now center on the holes that accept these fasteners with those spacers. And we're just going to engage the thread there. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to move the tail halves towards the inside, toward inboard, and engage those rubber grommets and friction fasteners. Just to make sure everything's going okay here, making sure that this is over and under all of these components here. And this will hold the light for me temporarily. Now I'm going to plug all this in. I showed you guys where the plugs are before. So I'll just plug it in and test it, make sure everything is all right. Make sure I didn't reverse the signal sides. Let's power it up and see. All right, as you can see, the signal is flashing much faster than the OEM 85 cycles per minute rate. This is because we're using LEDs as a signaling device, and the OEM setup is not prepared for LED signals, therefore it'll flash much faster. We do include load balancing resistors that can be wired in parallel with the signaling circuit to slow this down. That's a little cumbersome. If you guys want an easier method, we do have a plug-and-play component. It's the Gen 2 flasher relay. It's plug and play. We do have a separate video showing how to install it. It actually splits apart and enables you adjustability through this potentiometer. Clockwise versus counterclockwise will make it go faster or slower, so you could tune it to your liking. But like I said, that's a separate video, so look for that on our YouTube channel or our website. For now, I'm going to power down and continue with the reinstallation of all the components, neatening up the wires, and then we'll be set. At this point, we will want to remove the tail halves off the tail light one more time, and we will fit this rubber tail center over the light in its designated spot, and it keys in there. It's important to place these rubber tabs down before the tail goes over them. Now the tail will have to engage with the tail light via those friction fasteners that come in from the side, with this tab over the rubber, and then also keeping mindful of the tail having to fit over and under the undertail components. If you keep these screwed connections loose, this tail light is able to flex and articulate just a little bit, and makes this whole step easier. It's all looking pretty good over here. So let's start turning some of these screws back in. We'll start with these self-threaded screws with spacers up here. I like to flex this tail part a little bit as I turn it in to make sure that my spacer centers in all of the components from top to bottom. And then I leave it just a little bit loose. And we can turn these down to bottom out. Now we can get these fasteners back in along with the spacers. And then finally start the threads of these guys. And we can actually bottom these out. Once again, shake the plastic around, make sure that the shoulder that's cut into this fastener fits center in it. And after a final check, making sure that everything's coming together nice and neat, edges are aligned, I'm going to tighten everything down. Now let's talk about wiring really quickly. We've left sort of a mess here. There is this one cable routing interference clip there, and we could guide the wire through. We can overlap the wire. If you want to be extra neat, you could put a wire tie on here, but I usually just choose to put the bare wires on the bottom and the sheath wires on top. That produces a really good effect for me. The one remaining plug here is for the license plate light. That will be done at a later time. I can replace the contents of the trunk and just move in the reverse order of disassembly from this point forward. At this point, we can replace the push fasteners that came out from the bottom of the bike. And now this is pretty much done. I'm just going to power it up real quick, do one last test, make sure everything's still cool. We have running light, brake light, left signal, right signal. As you guys can see, we are flashing fast. We are going to do the relay on this bike. But for now, just wanted to toggle through some of the light patterns. So I'm going to remove this trunk panel again. If you have long fingers, you can reach the programming button on the enclosure. Otherwise, you can use a pencil with the eraser side. And now you see scanning signal, a pulsar signal. We also do have several brake flash patterns in there. Those just toggle through with the press of the button. We will showcase the full spectrum of all the light patterns available to you in a separate video, so look for that in the product page for the taillight or our YouTube channel. All right, last step here. Passenger seat needs to be replaced, and the bike is ready to rock. Hope you guys agree with me that this is a great upgrade to the looks of this motorcycle. It's also really, really, really bright. The smoked and the clear versions do have a little bit of difference in the brightness, but like I said, 108 LEDs. This thing packs mega punch, all right? So you will find more info about this part and other parts for this bikeon tstindustries.com, and I hope to see you guys there. Later.